So this really came up for me because I was looking at some of these graphs that are going around on X. You can see them all over the place, but this is the one that really surprised. This one shocked me.
Yep.
This was crazy because the whole graph does not fit on the screen. The whole graph doesn't fit on the screen. And this is the graph that shows Canada's net international migration from 1952 to 2025. And boom, Marty, that is just what? That you cannot sustain that. This is crazy. It's in the scale of in the millions of people, so multiple millions.
Yeah, if you have to plot immigration on a log scale, man, we're out of control. I mean, I question that graph a little bit. It looks a little exaggerated, but it's in the right order of magnitude. I would have said for sure we let in an extra. We went from 200,000 a year to maybe a million and a bit. What does that show? 2.8. I mean, it's a big number. Actually, it's in line. I talked about Alberta today. I mean, Alberta last year let in 400,000 people, and we're a province of or 280,000, and we're a province of 4 million people. Like we let in, we increased our population by 5%. That's every expert in demographics and others fields of science like that, they always say no more than 1%. Like you don't want to increase your population by more than 1%. Then you're out of control. Your schools aren't keeping up. Your hospitals, your housing, and then we talked about this. I mean, I want to be welcoming. And I want to help people who come here integrate, right? Like if we're setting up, when I used to coach hockey, every year out of the 22 kids that I'd coach, you'd have one or two new immigrants that were learning. And so it's like, okay, that's great. Then welcome aboard. But now if I was trying to coach hockey and suddenly I got 25% of my team is new immigrants, I can't integrate them. I can't help them help themselves. So it's too fast, way too fast.
So here's some of the numbers from this this year.
Okay.
So in the first quarter of 2025, that's the first 4 months.
Yeah.
817,000 people.
Jesus. Yeah. So if you multiply by 4, that's 3.2 million in 1 year.
Yeah.
In a country of 40 million people, I can do the math in my head. If it was 4 million, it's 10%. So at 3.2 million, it's 7%. We're increasing our population by 7%. Completely unsustainable. In fact,
does that chart look so
it's
wrong?
It's not immigration, Clyde. That's replacement. That's a whole other topic. In fact, now even today, I was listening to a little bit of news, and we all got our tax bills. I got my tax bill not too long ago, and everybody's like, "What the hell's going on with our tax bill?" And somebody on council in the city of Calgary said, "Well, we have more people, so everything's going up." I'm like, "Whoa. Like,
hold on. That should make everything cheaper."
Exactly. So if letting
you got more demographics, you got more people to pay the stuff.
But we're letting in people who are not contributing immediately. That's fine. But now we're letting so many of them that don't contribute. Like that used to, again, that was an acceptable social contract. You're coming in, if you come in 200,000 in a year, you guys are a little more expensive in the first year because you got to catch up and integrate and before you become productive. We're letting in so many of them right now that the rest of us who've been here for 30 years have to pay for them. My costs are going up. That's what the council said on the town council said costs have to go up to cover the cost of immigration. And that's exactly what everybody went, whoa. So letting in people is hurting me. Okay, that makes no sense.
And this is where it's spilling over, right? So Marty, this is where it's spilling over. This was a great tweet that I highlighted this week from EconomicWoes. Says all the people who left Ontario for greener pastures of Alberta are starting to get effed. The silent depression is spreading fast across the land. So this is in Alberta, showing just a lineup in front of just some random big box shop looking for jobs. This is the job lineup.
What the heck?
It's crazy. Now this is happening in Alberta. So this is like Alberta separation can't happen soon enough, right? At this rate, because the more these immigrants come in, the more they're going to flood in. They're flooding all over the place. So you can't this isn't just isolated to Brampton and a few other places in southwestern Ontario kind of thing anymore. This is all over the place. Quebec is doing what they can. Blanchette doing his best job of isolating Quebec and saying, well, we don't want any immigrants. Give it to the rest of the provinces, right? And with these kinds of numbers, it's incredible. And what gets me the most is they have the audacity to have, articles written and say that, well, it's I can't even say this with a straight face, Marty. This is great. Have articles written that has stuff like this: U.S. tariffs and growing population to blame for lack of summer jobs for youth, expert says. So, the growing population, that's the secondary thing. It's tariffs. It says
this is not even the funniest one. I still saw a story not too long ago, somebody blaming high unemployment rate on climate change. The kids don't have jobs at McDonald's because of climate change. No. The kids don't have jobs at McDonald's because the McDonald's is hiring immigrants on a discount, which is another bullshit thing, right? Because the foreign worker program, like what the federal government, now you're making me mad again. This is like, remember last week or whatever during the campaign, buy Canadian, right? Buy Canadian because we got to fight the Trump tariffs. Well, how about hire Canadian? But we're bringing in temporary foreign workers that we don't need, that are making problems worse, and we're subsidizing them. I mean, a third of a foreign worker's salary is paid by the government. So that's why McDonald's hires them, because they pay them $15 an hour. But $5 of those bucks are paid for by the government. Jesus.
I'm not kidding you though. Like you can just YouTube search this. There are so many people bragging about how they got PR with Tim Hortons. This temporary worker thing, there's nothing temporary about it. It's like Milton Friedman said, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. They're not bringing people in to temporarily work at these places, even though they're hiring them on the temporary program. There was one. Yeah, here it is. I gave what is the title? I gave PR, permanent residency, to 40 to 50 students.
Yeah.
People who are not supposed to be here permanently. They're going through these places. They're using fast food as a permanent residency mill. And what's the expense? Well, it's at the expense of your kids getting an entry-level position and having a summer job, getting some work experience, getting a bit of this. And they're not making any money. That's all happening while they're filing more people in here. And then we have all these extra people that we don't have any recourse to say, you got to go home now. The temporary part's over. They're working on getting their PR from the second they get in the door.
I think it was Kirk who tweeted this week while I was gone, 4.5 million people have visas that are about to expire. Yeah. Yes. So give them all a phone call and remind them your visa is expired. And, use the technology. If somebody's got if some of those people who have visas, like we talked about this, right? If I go to Costa Rica is fantastic. Like if I go to Costa Rica, they're still using rubber stamps. I walk into the country, they stamp my passport. And somehow or other, if I try to find a job in Costa Rica, I won't be able to. Like they'll ask me, but here in Canada, you get the visa. What does that visa mean? It means nothing. You got into the country. We're literally rubber stamping people and then not following up with them. We don't know where those 4.5 million people that have expired visas are.
We know where a bunch of them are, Marty. We know where a bunch of them actually are. Here's the Western Standard reporting. Protesters outside of First Minister's meeting in Saskatoon upset with not having temporary work permits renewed. So these people are just about to have their permits expired, and they're protesting in Canada.
Yeah.
This was a clip from the Friday night live stream. It's a community event that we do every Friday at 9:30 Eastern time. That's 6:30 Pacific. If you want to watch the whole video, the link will be down in the description down below. If you want to catch it live, make sure you hit that notification bell with the subscription to the channel. It'll remind you when we go live at the time. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.